This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. The search for missing West Moona man Elson Kittle has come to a tragic end. The body of the 70-year-old was found in bushland near Lenah Valley this afternoon after an extensive air and land search.
As they left Lenah Valley this morning, police and family of Elson Kittle still held hope. But hours later, their worst fears were confirmed.
It's with a very heavy heart that I report that Mr Kittle was located deceased at approximately 1:30 p.m. this afternoon.
The tragic end came after the 70-year-old vanished from his West Moona home on Friday morning. 3 days later, his car was found here at Lemire Avenue, prompting an extensive ground and air search of the area. Today, his body was located 2.5 kilometres away in dense bushland.
This isn't the outcome that we wanted. If we can take anything out of this, though, simply it's the fact that he's been located. You know, that area, if we could search it for months and months and months and not find him.
Today, police praised the community who offered everything they could to help.
We're really grateful for the assistance we've received from volunteers. You know, some of the efforts from the community have just been outstanding.
Police say there are no suspicious circumstances. A report will now be prepared for the coroner. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
Arsonists have razed another house in Rochelee's Capania Street. Police say the property was deliberately set alight shortly after midnight. Although firefighters managed to quickly extinguish the blaze, the house was demolished earlier today after sustaining significant damage. No one was in the house at the time of the fire and neighbouring properties were not affected. At least 3 other properties have been destroyed by arsonists in the cul-de-sac so far this year. A Tasmanian nursing home has been forced to implement changes after failing to meet care criteria. The Southern Cross Care facility is one of many in the state facing sanctions following a national crackdown on the embattled sector.
The head of Southern Cross Care Tasmania forced to speak out after his aged care facility failed to meet quality standards.
There are deficits identified and we are now working with the agency and also the Department of Health to rectify those issues as soon as possible.
An unannounced inspection of the Somerset Yarrandoo facility earlier this month found it did not meet 18 out of 44 clinical and documentation criteria.
The staff are long-standing committed staff who've worked the organisation for many years. We've never had a non-compliance at all in our 46 years of operation as an aged care provider.
Now the company must appoint an advisor to report on just how it's fixing the problems, and it will not accept new residents for 6 months. It comes as a national crackdown on the sector exposed concerns across the industry, including a significant shortage of nursing staff.
Until baseline staffing levels are fixed in terms of the federal government legislating ratios, the clinical care standards and the clinical care delivery to residents will not be able to be guaranteed.
It's a human right that people should be able to be fed, clothed and receive appropriate care. It's a really important consideration for older people.
Mr Sadek said he did not believe patient safety at Yarrandoo was at risk. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
There are growing fears tonight for the future of the zinc smelter in Hobart, with the international company's share price continuing a dramatic dive. Nearstar says it's continuing to work on improving the efficiency and sustainability of the plant.
The Hobart Zinc Works have been a major employer in the region for a century, but now there are concerns for the 600 people who currently work here as Nearstar battles financial troubles.
Workers have been looking at the share prices for a while now, especially with the restructuring and the reduction in staff levels, so of course they are concerned.
This graph shows its falling shares in recent weeks. 6 months ago, Nearstar traded over €5, about 8.5 Australian dollars. Now, within the last day, it's dipped as low as 57 Australian cents.
The company's been under pressure because of a fall in the zinc price recently, as well as the levels of debt that they're holding. So it may well be the company might need to make some decisions around their global operations and that will include the local smelter in Hobart.
Crucial for the international company, it's facing a deadline to sort out its debt.
There's around $500 million in debt which is due to mature next year. It's likely that if the company can't renegotiate with their debtors, that perhaps there could be issues around the company going forward.
As the company tries to find efficiencies, unions say it's aiming to reduce the number of maintenance workers from 63 to 43.
Potentially that leads to a recipe for disaster. It's an ageing plant. It needs some serious investment there to ensure the safety of workers.
As workers hang in the balance, company officials will travel to Tasmania next week and hold a meeting with the State Treasurer.
A very valuable employer in southern Tasmania and been a very valuable industry for many, many decades, and so we want to ensure that we do have regular contact and understand some of the concerns of Nearstar in their future.
In a statement, Nearstar says it's confident it has the right systems and people to continue operating safely, and change processes are aimed at ensuring the plant's long-term sustainability. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
There's a new date for the finalisation of the troubled Bridge of Remembrance construction project. Builders are now planning to lift the bridge span into place on the weekend of the 23rd of November. 2 previously planned lifts had to be cancelled because of construction issues and bad weather. If this lift goes ahead, the section of the Tasman Highway will be closed from 7 p.m. next Friday to 6 a.m. on the Monday. Around 300 primary school students have spent the day learning how to protect the environment for future generations. A day out at the University of Tasmania saw Launceston students take a close-up look at nature, learn about Aboriginal culture and identify different trees. The annual Kids for Kids program aims to teach students about sustainability as part of National Recycling Week.
We know that kids learn, well, we all learn so much from each other, so bringing kids together to be able to share their ideas and share what's happening and be energised from each other is really important.
I love doing stuff about the environment. I love the environment. Our school has a garden at our school and I'm probably one of the main people up there.
The program heads to Burnie and Hobart later this month. Casino dealers from across Australasia have put their shuffling skills to the test at the Croupier Championship final, hosted this year at Hobart's Rest Point Casino, home to last year's winner.
The house keeping out an eye as the dealer faces the cards. This croupier is in the final heat of the championship, testing her chip skills among the acting high roller judges.
This competition has been running for many years, so each casino will send their best dealers to the venue. So we've got dealers from Singapore, Vanuatu, New Zealand and most of the major casinos in Australia.
It's all or nothing on the roulette tables, while others have their odds on blackjack and baccarat, the judges looking at all elements of their game.
Judges are looking for the dealer's technique, how they use their hands and use the chips, also their guest service. So one of the main questions is, would you remain at this table? So it's the overall experience of how the dealer does their game.
The iconic Hobart venue hosting the event, thanks to local Shelley Rogers taking out the winning title in Sydney last year.
When I got into the finals, I was happy to be 6th. So to win number 1, that blew my mind completely. Yeah, so my skills, I think they sort of honed a little bit more because I did a lot of practice, I did a lot of studies at home and just wanted to be the best.
The event, a jackpot opportunity to showcase the state's capital.
Everybody wants to win and showcase their casino. So everybody's come down here to Rest Point to see to see us, and so we get to show off to everybody.
In for a chance for the grand prize win. Ruby Kamain, Southern Cross News.
From tomorrow, campfires will be banned in many of Tasmania's national parks. All fires, including pot fires and solid fuel stoves, will not be allowed on King Island and Flinders Island and along Tasmania's northeast and east coasts. The Parks and Wildlife Service says the current dry conditions mean campfires can escape and spread easily, putting communities at risk. Campers can still use gas stoves and gas barbecues. With Christmas just around the corner, Tasmanians are being encouraged to donate gifts to the annual Kmart Wishing Tree Appeal. The Salvation Army helps thousands of families every year, and the charity wants people to put some thought into their donations.
Think of gifts that might have lasting significance beyond Christmas, gifts that will help families in an ongoing capacity, and perhaps give some thought not just to the Christmas period, but what will help families going forward.
You can donate at stores in Hobart, Devonport, Burnie and Launceston. 7 Tasmanians have been recognised in a ceremony in Hobart today for living 50 years or more with diabetes. The event is in celebration of World Diabetes Day, with this year's theme,
When you have
family.
diabetes, people live with that 24/7. You can't say, I'm not going to worry about my diabetes today. And having that support, be it from your family, friends, is really important. But then that extended group, which is like your health professionals.
Around 28,000 Tasmanians are currently living with the condition. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news. With thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund, the Australian share market has lost more than 1.5% for the second consecutive day, with commodity-related stocks suffering heavy losses on plunging oil prices. The ASX 200 index fell 101.4 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 72.18 US cents and 106.47 New Zealand cents.
After taking out Sunday's Stand Shaker Classic, New South Welshman Cam Ivory has kept his good form rolling. He blitzed today's Tour of Tasmania prologue, setting the fastest time, but he isn't expecting to hold on to the yellow jersey for long.
3, 2, 1, go!
The prologue might be the shortest leg of the tour, but some riders consider it to be the toughest. The smiles seldom last long once they start winding their way up Launceston's suitably named Hill Street. For some 600 metres, riders try to create the perfect start to the 4-stage tour by shaving as many seconds off their time as possible.
You can see by the look on the riders' faces as they cross the line, it takes all their breath away.
80 riders tackled the incline. Kane Cannon topped the timesheets for local riders. His Tasmanian Institute of Sport teammates are a mix of youth and experience.
Full gas for a minute 40 to 2 minutes, just as hard as you can go until you blow pretty much.
My aim was to improve on last year and get a bit of a PB in the time, and managed to do that, so sort of in the ballpark with the other riders.
National Road Series leader Raphael Feinstein is well in contention, finishing third fastest, just 5 seconds off the pace. Tristan Ward, racing for Richie Port's old team, Benelong Swiss Wellness Cycling, finished second fastest. Today's top time up the gruelling climb is a familiar name. Cam Ivory, winner of Sunday's Stand Shaker Classic, adds the prologue yellow jersey to his haul.
I've got a fair bit of power, I guess, for a smaller guy like me, so these short, punchy efforts suit me pretty well.
His time of 1 minute 40.24 was 2 seconds clear of his nearest rival. Although Ivory's mountain biking background suited this climb, it might let him down on the longer hill climbs coming up.
Coming out of mountain biking, we don't have any reason to go and do these long 30-minute climbs. Most of the time they're between 1 and 3 minutes in the cross-country circuits.
Stage 1 of the tour is tomorrow from Georgetown to Grindelwald.
Tasmanian sprinter Jack Hale has revealed he's entering the 400 metres of this year's Devonport Gift. Usually suited to the 100 metres distance, Hale is keen to try the longer run after lifting his training load over winter.
Mate, 400 it's going to hurt, so I'm not used to coming out of a race and feeling lactic, so after 2 4s in one day I'm going to be in a bit of pain, so just got to soldier through it and go for it.
The 20-year-old will also be back to defend his Latrobe Gift title. He will also enter the Burnie Gift. And 3 Tasmanians have been named finalists at the Cyclist of the Year Awards. Richie Port and Amy Cure are in the running for the Elite Cyclist of the Year after competing in a range of high-profile international events, while Anya Lowe is nominated for Junior Cyclist of the Year.
18 degrees today for Hobart. Launceston had a top of 23, 22 in Burnie and 18 degrees in Devonport. Around the state, things cooling down a bit after a hot day yesterday. 24 there, the state's top for Cressy, 23 for Sheffield, 22 degrees at Ouse and Bushy Park. Smithton, Scottsdale and Campania all 20 degrees with 19 at Grove. Looking on the charts, there is high to mid-level cloud moving northeast as low cloud streams into the west, the south and the east. And further out, there is a large band of cloud with thunderstorm activity over the east of the country, and another band moves through the southeastern states with low cloud over the southern coastline, but clear elsewhere. Tomorrow, a high moves over the Bight, extending a ridge into the state. The broad trough persists over northern and eastern parts of Australia. On the waters, southeast to southwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots, reaching 25 about the east and more variable about the north later on, with seas around 2 metres. On the forecast, 16 and showers in Hobart and Cygnet, 17 for New Norfolk, 20 in Launceston, a shower or two there, sunny in Devonport, 19, 18 for Campbelltown, sunny and 19 for Burnie and Smithton, 17 degrees for Strahan, with showers easing in the east, 17 in St Helens and Swansea, and 18 the top for Fingal. And the UV is still 8 right around Tasmania. Friday brings mostly cloudy conditions, sunny through the northwest, showers on the west coast early on. Sunny through the west on Saturday, cloudy for most of the other centres with warm weather expected, with similar conditions expected again on Sunday. Looking at your major centres for tomorrow, 31 degrees in Perth, 23 the top for Adelaide, 18 in Melbourne, 25 in showers for Sydney, 29 in Brisbane with 31 for Cairns. And not a bad evening tonight, Joe, for a Wednesday. A few clouds in Hobart, 11 degrees, sunny and 19 still, thankfully, in Launceston, and 16 and sunny in Devonport. That's all from me.
Well, that's all from the news team for this Wednesday. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you a little later with updates. But for now, bye-bye.